How do you too? It's funny, there were 5 people here a second ago, and now there's only 3. I guess 2 of them looked and said, oh, it's just him brushing his cat again. I'm out. Yeah. You don't care about that, though. Just make with a brush, and all right? Well, we're starting to wind the facility up. We still have a few more things to do after maintenance interval, but when we go back next week, we'll be starting stuff up. So it was actually kind of a quiet week today, or this week. What we ended up doing, if you've been following this at all, you know I've been on maintenance interval at work. My company does that about 2 times a year, where they shut down the place for about 10 days and just do a bunch of badly needed preventive maintenance. That wasn't what enabled me to go to San Antonio, but we're getting to the end of that now. We're still kind of technically in it, but I'm off on my weekend now, and by the time I go back on Wednesday, is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? It's Thursday this week. Then we'll be starting stuff up again. So hasn't been a lot of work days this week, and the few days that there were this week, they were pretty easy. So we actually ended up going home early all 3 days. So can't complain about that. I will a little bit when the paycheck comes in or doesn't come in, as you may say. Yeah, I guess I've heard it called changeover too. We just call it maintenance interval. Well, the job really sucks for our mechanics because the mechanics have to be there every day during maintenance interval, and that's on weekends too. So, they'll go for 14, 16 days straight uh, doing these maintenance intervals. The rest of us, we have to kind of scrounge. That's part of the reason I don't take a lot of vacations away from maintenance interval because then I can take vacation money for that. Yeah, the Riverwalk was nice. It was a nice place. I could see how it'd be a kind of a fun, trendy place to hang out. Now, I think they're going to have to decide if they're going to allow the homeless people to come and take over in there. I saw a few of them in there that were just camping out in shady places. I don't know, is it going to be an upscale shopping district or is it going to be an upscale homeless shelter? They'll have to decide that. Move this over a little bit here because we're blocking the screen. You can't see Matt. Got to be able to see Matt's videos there. Meow. I think I heard something about that. Well, that's what all these city leaders got to do. They got to figure out where they want to be on this issue. Because I don't know. It's. I think I can't talk today. I think the distinction is very clear, right? Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know if I've actually ever seen a Diane Keaton movie. What do you think good ones are? Yeah, I figured there'd be somebody here that was into Diane Keaton. If I were going to go check out one Diane Keaton movie, what should I go watch? What should I see? Yeah, the one I think I keep hearing associated with her is Annie Hall. I didn't know she was in Godfather movies too. Yeah, it's always sad when a classic actor dies, but it's all going to happen to all of us sometime. Garth said hi to you. Work was actually easy this week. It was. we're kind of still in the maintenance interval thing at work. And so while we're starting to get ready to wind the machines up, we're doing like test runs and stuff like that. Um, we aren't back in full production yet. So we were there 3 days this week, and it was basically part days. We went home early every day. So now I'm on my 4 day weekend, and supposedly when we get back on Thursday, we're going to start winding stuff up again. And I'm done with Silo for the year. I can only do it at the beginning when we're on maintenance interval because I just can't get there at work, get there at night and stuff like that. So I'm done with this season, but I had a blast the week I was there, and John understands that I can't do as much anymore, but he likes it when I do it, and I think he's happy with the fact that I'm willing to be outside and be sort of a greeter, if you will. But I greet people when the silo screams away by trying to scare them and make them run. I did an interview with John a year or two ago, and I think he said something like, 80 to 100 cast members. But he also said something that with in the fun house with all the clowns, he could put 50 clowns in there, and it would really work. Really work well. So he can work with what he has, and it's like I said. I think 80 people. There's a lot of people involved in it. He's done Silo Screams for Christmas. Yeah, he did. He did one called "Tis the Slasher Season," and I got to play Freddy Krueger on that one. But I guess it didn't do well enough that it was worth doing it over again. So it was fun. And I think what ended up happening too is he did it right around the time COVID was starting to get weird, and it wasn't a good year. So it wasn't a very productive year to begin with, and he just never went back to it. I think he's just going to focus entirely on the Halloween thing. Yeah, yeah, I'm in that mask the whole time. I mean, I take it off sometimes just to kind of cool off because you start sweating in that thing. If you're in there too long. But it's been cooler than usual this part of the fall too, so that's been nice too. No, no new rocks. I may go over there today. We'll see. I got a couple of things I want to do around the house, but we may take a trip over there today. The Christmas Village Cemetery for Halloween. Are you talking the thing on my Amazon wish list? That would never be awkward. It wouldn't go up until Christmas, but yeah, I mean that I would love to have that. Like I said, it'll only go up for when we go up for Christmas because I don't have the Christmas display up year round. But I would love to have that if you wanted to do that. Oh, I'm not done yet, Darth. There's at least three, maybe four more videos coming because I got a couple of cave videos. That's what the thumbnail picture is the first of the two cave videos that I went into. That one's called the Natural Bridge Caverns, and then you'll see that one on Tuesday, and then on Thursday you'll see another cave called A Bridge Without a Name. And actually, when I got to that place, I thought, oh man, this is just a stupid tourist trap, but it was one of the most impressive caves I think I've ever seen. So they were both amazing. And then I went to the San Antonio Aquarium there, and got a vlog there, and I don't know. I got something else too. I'm going to see if that can turn into a vlog or not. We'll see if I've got enough content for that. Might be a new kind of little semi-regular series thing I do. And then I have one that I shot last week, just of a local thing. So yeah, a lot of content. It's gonna be videos every couple of days. I'm back on the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday thing for about a week and a half yet. Well, you got to remember the cemetery figurines have to be HO scale, so that the right scale for the train track. You don't want to have a train that's this tall and a house that's this big. It's not going to look right. So it's all HO scale, and that's what's. And yes, they are tiny, but that's sort of the point. I want to build kind of a creepy cemetery in there because I got to have there's a little dark side to me, and so I gotta do something weird like that. Have a little cemetery right in the middle of my Christmas village. Yeah, I'm one of those people that likes Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not different from me, Lindex. I mean, that was when I saw that, I said, "Oh, that'd be perfect for the village." I think that was one of the first things I added to the list. I mean, one of the things I got from one of my viewers was just a little bag of like 50 people, and like the people are like three-quarters of an inch tall. And so, all the people that inhabit my Christmas village, that those are people, came with park benches and stuff like that, two little props and stuff like that. So remember, this is a guy that likes to go walk through real cemeteries. I haven't done one of those in a long time, have I? I guess it's because I've been to all the cemetery vlogs. I think probably the last time I was in a cemetery was when I went to Denver Pyle's grave. Yeah, I think there is still a building on the list. Yeah, I love walking through cemeteries. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but I actually went and saw a movie in a cemetery once. They basically it was the Hollywood Forever cemetery, which is a very big one in Hollywood where a lot of celebrities are buried, and um, it's kind of almost a tourist attraction because all the celebrities that are in there. And what they do is to attract people in there is they'll like do midnight showings where they'll project a movie onto the side of one of the mausoleums, and you can just sit there and watch it. This movie that we watched was Night of the Living Dead. Yep, you're right, John. That was the one. Yeah, I never did it with Scott Michaels, but Jordan and I and a couple of our friends went. It's a classic. I still love that movie. I like both the original Dawn of the Dead and actually the remake they did a few years later, or a few, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago now. Um, I thought that was actually a little scary. I really love the concept of the zombies in the mall. And so I remember even the original version I really liked. Yeah, I suppose they are sort of campy, but it's okay. That was first class horror back in the day. Hey, Mark, how's it going? I mean, I'll admit when I watch them now, I don't watch them to be horrified or scared of them. I look at them because they're almost like Ed Wood kind of movies now. They're almost it's so bad they're good. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. John Carpenter was good too. That was Halloween, right? Hey Tracy, good to see you again. Sounds like we're kind of moving off in the direction of horror, so this might be a fun one. They Live, that's a good one too. Jordan got me into that movie actually. He found a copy of it. He'd always wanted. He found it like in a $3 bin, and I made a copy of it. So I have a copy of it too. It's great. It's a great movie. I should probably just go buy one just because if it's a good movie, I wanna pay for it. I watched The Walking Dead for a couple seasons. You know, I got over it. It just didn't hold my attention. Yeah, right. We're all out of bubble gum. It's funny because there's almost a similar quote in another one of my favorite movies, the Dazed and Confused movie, um, where one of the characters in the park, the one that beats up the guy who wants to dance, and he says, "We're only here to do two things: drink beer and kick ass. And we're almost out of beer." Yeah, that's like the longest fight scene of any movie I think I've ever seen because that fight scene goes on for like almost like 15, 20 minutes, I think. I saw Scream, but I wasn't as into the some of the new ones aren't very good. Some of the new horror films I'm not as into. Like I said, I love the old slasher films, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. See, that was another one. I saw the movie I Know What You Did last summer too, and that was another one of those that I wasn't really into. I don't know. I think I'm just one of those old fogies that's kind of settling into the music and movies of his youth, not really open to new things unless somebody drags me kicking and screaming into it. The thing now, that's something I probably should have because that was in my era, maybe a little before my era, but that's definitely something I probably should have gone back and checked out. I mean, I sometimes enjoyed the like big budget horror movies too. Poltergeist is one of my favorite movies ever, just because it's such a great story and it's such a kind of an emotional roller coaster, and there's scary and there's mega happy and all sorts of crazy things going on. So that's always been one of my favorite ghost stories slash horror pictures. Yeah, Alien and Aliens, those are both good. I think Aliens is better. I think Alien I thought was a little dark. Not dark in terms of like thematically, but it was shot dark. It was like it should have been exposed up a little bit so you could see better. I like older Stephen King, but I can only point to like a handful of his books I think were ever successfully transferred to the big screen. Shawshank Redemption comes to mind. Green Mile comes to mind. Stand by Me comes to mind. Carrie on some level, and I'm a huge fan of the original ABC miniseries version of The Stand. That was great. Salem's Lot, man, not so much. I mean, I've seen it. I used to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show too. I probably saw it, I don't know, 70 or 80 times. Christine was okay. It wasn't one of his better uh, transfers to the medium. Yeah, it was decent. I mean, I guess I kind of liked it, but yeah, that's when we'd always go see it too. There was I used to live in Orange County, uh, and it was about a 20-minute 20 mile drive to some place called Newport Beach. And out on the Newport Beach Peninsula, there was a um, old art house movie theater called the Balboa, and we used to go there on every Friday and Saturday night. And it was one of those more organized ones where there was actually actors in front of the screen acting stuff out. We had all the props and all the stuff, and basically the theater was just trashed anyway. And they still showed kind of art house films in there, but it didn't really get a whole lot of other business other than the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But yeah, I went there a whole bunch of times. Always had my rice, always had my newspaper, my squirt bottles, my everything you need. No, I was never one of those to dress up, but I would go up and do the time warp every time, and I knew all the lines. I had a point. I was at a point there at one point where I could. I memorized the entire movie start to finish, including the songs. Firestarter, I don't know. It was one of George C. Scott's last films, but I don't know. It wasn't that great of a movie, and the soundtrack kind of bugged me. It's funny. It was the same band that did Miracle Mile, but I don't have a problem with it on Miracle Mile, but it wasn't as good of a soundtrack, I think. Yeah, Tangerine Dream, exactly. What did you think of The Sixth Sense? Did you like that? Yeah, it's just I was just thinking the same thing, Lindex. I thought that was a great movie. It was a really good movie for Bruce Willis because that's a different side of him. I've only seen the Drew Barrymore version of Firestarter. Yeah, that twist caught me off guard too. I'm going to say it wasn't as shocking as the Crying Game twist, but it was up there. Well, it's fun to kind of look at all the because there's all sorts of clues in the movie. Yeah, yeah. Don't Lindex. You don't want to see that one. I don't know. It wasn't that good of a movie anyway. I just watched it the one time just because I heard it was so controversial. I was at that point where I would like go see almost everything that was out there. Yeah, Sixth Sense was good. It was a great movie. Okay, don't say I didn't warn you, Lindex. There is a very shocking plot twist in the middle of that one too. All right, so we're going to get a report from Lindex next week. Hide the kids, everyone. No, I never saw Signs. Hello, Kim. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, John. At least three, maybe four from the San Antonio trip. Plus, I got one that I shot last week here. So there's about five more videos in the can at this point. Including this one here. This is the one. This is the Natural Bridge Caverns that I went to first, and so this is the place that you're going to see this on Tuesday. This one was amazing. Look at that. Can you imagine walking into a room like this? Yeah, the Riverwalk was funny, or was a fun place. It's it's a pretty place. They did a nice job out there. You know, the lights. There's just a lot of just kind of really nice places to walk. Well, hello, Roberta. Yeah, it has been a long time. He walked off. Maybe I'll throw one at him here. Yeah, he ate that. I don't think I ever saw Destination Five. I assume we're going back on the movie theme here. Like I said, I haven't been very adventuresome with movies in recent years. I haven't been into a movie theater since I moved to Waco, and we're going on, you know, what, almost 7 years now. Because in March it'll be 6 years at work, and May it'll be 7 years total. That's insane. I am now a Texan. Oh, that's kind of cool. You had a friend. What did your friend do, Darth? No, no second thoughts at all. I love it here. And as I've watched California just kind of slide off the cliff, it's like every day I'm glad I'm here. Yeah. I think I've heard of it. I've never seen Destination Five. What's it about? Oh, I'm sure that's the case, John. Yeah. I mean, unless Darth's friend was Jack Nicholson or Shelley Duvall. Wasn't that Brian De Palma that did that? Or was it somebody else? I don't remember. I know Brian De Palma. I think Brian De Palma did Carrie. Yeah, we were talking about Diane Keaton a little bit ago. I don't think I've ever seen a movie of hers. We were talking about like Annie Hall, and I guess she was in a couple of the Godfather movies. Yeah, and the two caves you're going to see in the next two videos are both really really impressive and really really beautiful. The second one I went into is called Cave Without a Name, and when I looked at the property that was on and the cheesy little entrance they had going into it, I was thinking, oh, this is some horrible tourist trap, and it's not going to be that great. But that one was amazing. Oh man, what I do to have something like that under my house? Steadicam operator. Okay. Oh well, stop in and spend a little time sometime too. It's good to see old friends come back. You only got a couple minutes. We'll take what we can get, but feel free to come back again sometime. Okay. It's fun. It's fun when people from a long time ago, all of us stop, all of a sudden stop in and say hi. Was it Stanley Kubrick? It might be, because now that I think of it, it was Brian De Palma on Carrie. I feel your pain, Michael. Not the bear claws I like. Yeah, I think I saw Blowout, and it wasn't one of those that made enough much of an impression on me. I think because I don't remember what the story is anymore. That was a long time ago. Bear claws are just like little sweet roll things that have sugar. They're like a breakfast pastry kind of thing. And the way they're cut, they have cinnamon in them, and the way they're cut, to make it look like they look like they're bear claws. The first year I was in Waco, I was looking for bear claws and went on a bear claw hunt and found some and did a taste test. So if you're interested, you can go back and check that out. Like I said, that was in the first year. Go search the videos under bear claws. Hey, Rhonda. No, actually, I looked all over the place. I had to actually go to like donut stores. So there's a couple of donut stores around in the area. One's called Shipley's, and the other one is called Jack and Jill's. And I went and found bear claws at both places, and I did a side by side taste test. I don't know. I think it was probably bear claws. That was why I was out looking for them because I used to have bear claws for breakfast in California, and it was just something I could get at the grocery store. And so, when I started looking for them at HEB and they didn't have them, it's like, okay, where do I get these? And I started going to bakeries and bakeries couldn't help me, and one of them said you ought to try like Shipley's Donuts, and I found theirs. So oh, that sounds good. What about Lee Harvey Oswald? It's Thanksgiving there. All right. I don't know. They're pretty low on the list there, Lindex. I mean, I guess I could come up with some more dictators to put on that list. Here in Texas, we have something called kolaches, which I've kind of learned to enjoy too. Basically, it's like a donut, but it has like hot dogs and meat and sausage and stuff like that in it. So it's almost like eating a hot dog. It's all just kind of baked together. Never had eclairs. Yeah, I like the ones with the cream and fruit fillings to Darth. Yeah, I was wondering that too. Is it different from a Tombit? Donut holes can be good. Yeah, I can't comment on coffee either. I don't drink it. I've had 2 cups of coffee in my entire life, and neither of them were satisfying. I know Jordan kind of likes Dunkin' Donuts coffee, crusty creams. That's what I always used to call it too, is crusty creams. Oh yeah, okay. So your reaction to 2 cups of coffee was a little worse than mine. All right, I get it. You win. I don't know what's he said. Thanks for stopping in, Tracy. Good to see you again. Oh, hello, Gene. Didn't see you in there. Welcome to the group. Oh, you've only seen half of it so far, Gene. Got a couple of cave videos coming up. I have a video for the San Antonio Aquarium, which was actually really kind of fun. It was a little bit more than an aquarium. And maybe another video. I'm going to see if I can piece it together with what I have. Plus, I did a video when I got back, so there's going to be videos for the next week or so. You know, it's not going to be one video a week for I don't know a while. Yeah, Carlsbad Caverns is really amazing too. It's just such a massive cave complex. And one of the things I like about the Carlsbad Caverns is you can go down into the main cave part and just kind of take it at your own pace. You know, you're not being dragged along by a tour guide. A lot of the other caves I've been to, you know, well, all of the other caves I've been to, you know, you've been dragged along with a tour guide. And so you got to keep up with the tour guide, and you know, you can't spend the time to sit and just say, oh, you know, hey, yeah, look at this. This is, you know, this has happened because of this and all that. I don't know what the next trip is going to be, but I really like the fact that this time I went to San Antonio or wherever it was I was, and stayed there for a few days. And I haven't really ever done that before, where you know I go someplace, stay there for a couple of days, and hit a few things around the area. Yeah, Yellowstone definitely. You know, I'll definitely hit that, and that will definitely be something I'm there for a few days, maybe even a week. But a lot of stuff I've done, I go someplace, I'm there for the day, I'm done, I go somewhere else. Even when I went to Austin last year for the maintenance interval, and hit the Dazed and Confused filming locations, and then went down to the Johnson Space Center. I was only overnight there. I did the Dazed and Confused stuff and made it all the way to Houston. Spent the night in Houston, went to the Johnson Space Center, and drove home. Well, it was funny too, because the videos just came really easy. The first three videos that you've seen, I did on one day. And then the 2K videos, I did those on the second day. So I had a week and a half, almost 2 weeks of videos after 2 days. Oh, I really like too that I was so close to the Alamo, because I was literally, 100 yards from the Alamo at my hotel. And so fun, it was fun to be able to, go down there and look at it, day at night. And, there was that weird little outdoor shopping mall that was there. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Logan. Oh, I love Turkey. Yeah, I thought the river walk was pretty too. It was bigger than I thought it was. My eyes are all dry today. There was a fair number of people there. I kind of made it a point to go on a weekday, hoping that there'd be fewer people there. It wasn't enough people that it ruined it, but there were a fair number of people there. I'm glad there weren't really kids. That's what kind of ruins things. Oh yeah, I don't know who Tampa J is. Well behaved most of the time, huh? All right. Well, that's you got to take those little simple victories. I did hear something about a woman who died in the haunted mansion. I didn't hear a whole lot about what happened. I guess it maybe just scared her to death or something. I think I saw something like that happen once when I was in the park on the Pirates of the Caribbean. Because when I went in there, there's a big line to get in, and by the time we went through the ride and we're coming out, there was nobody in line anymore, and there was somebody laying on the ground with a cover over them. So I don't know. I don't know what happened, but there's supposedly ghosts in the haunted mansion, and they brag in the attraction that there's 999. Now maybe there's 1,000. Oh, that's a W trip to see a ghost on your ring cam. Yeah, I figured it probably was another YouTuber. I don't really watch any YouTubers. No, no decorating yet for Halloween. We'll start that in maybe a week or two. She put a picture on Facebook. Okay, we'll have to go check it out. I assume she put a picture on Facebook like just now. It's appropriate. We're going to look at ghost pictures when the clock is ringing at midnight or ringing 12. I don't know. I'll let you guys look at make up your mind here. I don't know. You think that's a ghost? Does it move, or is it just still? Or then that's a little different. I don't know. What do you think? Is proof of a ghost? I don't know. What do you think? I've heard that rumor too. I've actually, if you go to like YouTube, you can find like actual ghost video of ghosts supposedly walking around the park. I've seen it too. Yeah, and I have heard that Walt walks the park. There's a couple of them at Disneyland. The entire Disney World is built on tunnels, so all of the administrative stuff is underground. And there's a massive tunnel system under that place because what they basically did is they built the underground stuff first and then built the park on top of it. And so you don't even realize that you're on top of everything. But yeah, they experimented with that a little bit, and I've been into some of the tunnels there. The goal was they wanted people to get from one part of the park to another and not look like, hey, you're a what a pirate of the Caribbean in the Adventureland something. You're not supposed to be there. See you next time, Rhonda, and or Logan, if that's still Logan there. Yeah, sometimes I wish I had video of the tunnels under Disneyland. I was always a good employee. I didn't ever film anything backstage. I've heard about ghosts at Gettysburg. I would think it would be fun to go out to Gettysburg sometime at night and see what I could see. But I have to admit, I've never seen anything that I could rule out as a ghost. I haven't seen a single commercial. Tell us the story, Lindex. We're getting close to Halloween. We need some kind of spooky stories. It shouldn't be any more than every 12 minutes. I set it up to do manual drop one in about every 12 minutes. So it shouldn't be doing any more than that. I keep seeing on Facebook that there's like a haunted house tour here in Waco. Like, it's a haunted walk where you hear some spooky stories about that. That might be fun too. I've been to Salem, Massachusetts in October. I was in Salem, Massachusetts once on Halloween night. I'll tell you, that town comes apart on Halloween. I don't know. It would be fun to do it though. That'd be a great Halloween vlog, wouldn't it? I don't know. I haven't really followed a lot of that. I haven't had TV for a few years now, so that's kind of creepy. Yeah, they say that animals are more susceptible to that kind of stuff. if there is any of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess I find myself skeptical because I'm a show me person. I've never seen anything that I can't explain away rationally. It's also possible that some people are just more sensitive to it also. I mean, I remember when I went to that haunted house on Cielo Drive, a couple houses down from the Manson murder house, and saw those what the David Omen house. I didn't feel anything in there. And honestly, when Jordan went live and David was kind of showing us some of his evidence, I was thinking, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm eternally skeptical about things like that, and there were too many legitimate explanations for what said he'd seen. But then we went a second time, and Jordan brought a female friend with him, and she claims that somebody pulled her hair. And of course, David was really happy to point out because he's always thought it was like the murder victims from the Manson house. So, and Jay Sebring was one of the victims, and he was a hair guy. So I think it's pretty obvious that David Oman thinks it's haunted. No, I never felt anything in the Winchester house either. Like I said, I think that largely makes me skeptical. But if there is a physical science there, it's possible that some people are just more sensitive to it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm never going to be aware of it. Maybe this could be a major haunted house right now, and I just don't. I don't know. See, I've been to Alcatraz either. Never saw anything there either. Alcatraz is a fascinating place. And that's about all I really know too. I've heard Jordan refer to Katie as his fiance. So I don't know. You know what I know. That sounds like that'd be another great place for a horror story too, or a ghost story near the Titanic. Ooh, spooky. Somebody's still down there, huh? Wow, work with somebody whose mom was a baby on the Titanic. That's a story. It's funny how we can kind of have these kind of informal connections with the past. I was just thinking, I've been talking to my sister lately, and she's kind of decided that she's going to come visit me this spring. And I think that's going to be a better time. She was really originally thinking about doing it about now, but she kind of wants to avoid the heat. I thought spring would be a better time. And so I sent her a big list of things that we could do uh, while she was here. And I thought that would be kind of fun thing to do here. But one of the things I was thinking about doing, showing her some of the history of the place. And I was thinking the other day about how the tornado blew through here in '53. And I remember running into people, when I was just out on the street talking about how they had family members who were like in the Alico building when the tornado went through, and they remember talking about how the building shook like that but didn't come down. For a while there, a number of years ago, I used to sleepwalk and remember sleepwalking. Usually when people sleepwalk, they don't remember it. I would get up and I'd be convinced I had to do something, but couldn't remember what it was. And then I just finally give up and go back to bed, and I'd remember it the next day. And it's like I was walking around, my brain was off. It was weird. That hasn't happened in a long time though. Yeah, I think it was when I went down and did that Memorial Day parade a few years ago, and I think it was just some guy I was talking to that was along the parade route, and we were talking about that. I don't think my sister watches my vlogs. I know my uncle did at some time. I don't think he watched the live streams though. So everything, will just be kind of brand new for them. But I kind of came up with this list, and I broke it into categories. So because my sister has some kind of interesting interests in things too. So I thought it might be fun, do some not just the normal touristy things. And so like I said, I broke it down into categories. Under the category of touristy places, I got the Magnolia Silos, Dr. Pepper Museum, Cameron Park Zoo, and Bucky's. Under nature, I have visited Lake Waco, hiking in Cameron Park, Carlene Bright Arboretum. Um, for shopping, she obviously wants to hit the silos. And I was going to thought she might enjoy Spice Village and maybe Gallery 11. And then history, the Waco Suspension Bridge, the Waco Mammoth Museum, Texas Ranger Museum, Doris Miller Monument. And then I had a section here called the Dark Side of Waco, which includes a trip to the Branch Davidian site, the tornado site, and the Waco horror location. So I don't know. I think she's getting excited about that, and we're gonna see what happens. Just gonna have to stay tuned, Mark. My friend Beth has met a guy. I think she's on the verge of getting married. I just saw a post on Facebook today saying that they were scoping out wedding venues. Take it easy, Gene. See you next time. I did mention a couple restaurants too. Yeah, I think the last restaurant vlog I did was the health camp. That place was amazing, by the way. And that's what I mentioned to my sister. There's a number of like cool places. We'll have to go down to the barbecue place because that's a good one. Yeah, she cooks, but no, we're not going to do anything like that. There's a possibility my niece and nephew may come along too, so that'll be fun. Maybe the sister and the niece go to the Magnolia Silos and does that, and the nephew and I go out to Mount Carmel. I don't know if my sister's a Tom Cruise fan. She's never talked about it. Yeah, we'll have to look. I haven't really been to a whole lot of high end restaurants in Waco. I've been to some nice sit down restaurants. Mostly it's burger places and pizza joints and that kind of stuff. Because that's like my favorite things, Mexican food. No, I don't think so. I don't think you can technically have a high-end pizza place. That was an excellent pizza, though. Moroso Pizza is probably even higher end than that, and I still wouldn't call that high-end restaurant. I don't know. I guess it probably can't be a high-end restaurant if it's something where you pick the food up and eat it with your hand. I think the definition of a high-end restaurant is you got to use a fork and a knife and a spoon. Spaghetti factory. I don't know if there is a spaghetti factory here. Yeah, I love Mexican too, Kim. Yeah, I love Mexican too, Kim. Mexican is probably my favorite or ethnic food, and I haven't really found a good place here. Well, I think there's a connection between the knife, fork, and spoon and dressing up. Because when you dress up, you don't want to, right? I mean, I guess they do kind of have that restaurant out in front of the Magnolia Silos. That would probably be a good place. Let me go find that here, show you that. Yeah, I think this is kind of the place here. This is probably the closest thing I'm aware of to kind of a high-end restaurant here, and that's this thing. This is at the Magnolia Silos, and they got this place called the Silos Baking Company. And every time I've been there, there's always been a line to get in. So that might be something that might be worth a look. Yeah, I'm the same way, Kim. I don't dress up very much either. In fact, the whole suit and tie thing, that was what ultimately kept me from not getting some of the first jobs I applied for. Is I looked too stuffy, and the first job that I applied for, where I went more business casual look, that was the one I got. Yeah, I agree. Some of the best Mexican restaurants are in Mexican neighborhoods, definitely. And there's a large Hispanic community around here. So you'd think that there would be some good options on that. Like I said, I just haven't found them yet. There's still that Hecho and Waco place that I haven't been to. Like I said, I guess the fact that I'm not usually somebody to frequent like really fine restaurants. I guess it just hasn't been on my radar to go find that kind of stuff. I mean, there were a couple of nice restaurants that my parents used to go to, for special things, birthdays and that kind of stuff. But really haven't done a lot of that here. Yeah, my sister's a coffee drinker, so we'll have to figure out something there. My nephew's really into sushi, so I'm sure we can find some common ground there. I bet you I could find a good sushi place. Well, the neat thing is the silos and the Dr. Pepper Museum are literally walking distance from each other. There's so many things down there in a very, very small area. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. We may just end up going out. Yeah, only on special occasions. And that probably explains it because, I'm the only one here. So, it's a lot easier just to celebrate your own special occasions by staying home and throwing something on the grill. That's just me, I think. My sister does some tutoring. See, that was what she was before she got married. She was a biology teacher and still likes to do that. But, she kind of elected that when the kids were home, that she was going to kind of try and be a mom. And now that the kids are kind of out on their own, she's getting back into kind of doing that kind of stuff again. Yes, they are, Lindex. But even when the kids were younger, she was actively involved in the school. Did a lot of volunteer stuff in the school, worked in the library, all that kind of stuff. So she's put her knowledge to use. Yeah, I don't know. We'll play that by ear, John. It'll depend on whether she wants to be there. Yeah, there you go. To a sister live stream, huh? Kind of like I did the mom live stream that one time. Whoa, can I come to your house, Kim? That sounds amazing. Chicken enchiladas, tacos, black beans, guacamole, beef burritos, and chips and salsa. Wow. God, I'm gonna start drooling here. Party at Kim's house. I'll bring the beer. Yeah, Kim's going to have to quadruple her recipe now. There we go. Yeah, gotta have. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna have a Mexican themed dinner here. We gotta have the tequila too. Gotta make some margaritas. 6 p.m. All right, sweet. I'll be there. Yes, he will. He'll have to put a couple six packs in the fridge. God, now I'm hungry for Mexican. Oh, I'm gonna be ready for a nap here in a minute. Who'd have thought sitting on a couch and talking to my computer for 2 hours would be so tiring? I'm sure it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Oh, I see. I saw how that came out of the movie, Darth. I'd be careful about that. Yeah, can you imagine we all showed up at her house? That'd be funny. At least for us, maybe not for her. Or we could just all show up at Darth's house. A little bit. We're still really warm, but instead of being the mid or upper 90s, we're like into the low 90s. We're actually getting to like the 60s at night. So it's actually a little bit, almost a little getting on the point where it's a little on the chilly side at night. But that's okay. That's why I've said that before. One of the things I like about Texas weather is about the time you start getting bored with it, it changes. Anybody being affected by that nor'easter? Let's look. I want to actually wanted to look at that on the radar here. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks like fun, doesn't it? Looks like it's kind of winding up though. No, we aren't. We're not quite to the point where I turned the AC off, but it's not running as much, which is nice. But I mean, we're still getting into the 90s during the day, so it won't be long now where I'll get a couple weeks between when we go from turning on the AC all the time to turning on the heat all the time. Thanks for stopping in, Mark. I'll see you next time. Yeah, I'm hoping the period between the end of AC and the beginning of heat is more than a couple weeks. It tends to not be. In fact, it's funny you can have one day where you have to have run the AC, and then the next day where you have the heat on. I got some decent firewood this year though, so we'll be able to have some fires in the fireplace, and that's always good for keeping the house warm. I love having a fireplace. I'm surprised that Bite is actually more adventuresome about going outside now than he used to be. If I leave the door open, he'll go out. He didn't used to do that. Nibble used to be the first one to go out. Yeah, I use the compressed fire logs to kind of start the fire off. So I'll put one of those and then stack wood on top of it, and that works really well for me. Not every year, but as needed. I got to get somebody out and trim my trees too, because I have too many trees that are too close to the fireplace. So I got to deal with that. Hey, Localeros, you never told us you lived in a space station. Yeah, rest in peace, Diane Keaton. You talked about her a little bit at the beginning and a little bit in the middle too. That's beauty. That's the beauty of this. People come in, people go out, and I did enjoy the Alamo. The Alamo was a lot of fun. That whole San Antonio trip was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to have to do that again, where I go someplace and spend a couple days there. It was especially fun because I was like literally walking distance from the Alamo from my hotel. So, I saw it, 4 or 5 times. There was a lot to see in that immediate area, so that was a good choice for a place to go. What I really wanted to do is hit some of the rock and mineral shops because there are apparently 3 or 4 of them in town. And there was one day I really had nothing to do, and so I went out looking for rock and mineral shops and went to all of them, and every single one of them was closed. So I don't know. It must be a thing where these rock and mineral shops are open later in the week, because that's what Gallery 11 does too. They're closed usually Mondays and Tuesdays, and like Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. That's when and Sundays. That's when they're open. So I'm guessing it's all kind of scheduled. There's probably some sort of a wholesaler that they go to on the off days, and that's maybe on Mondays and Tuesdays or something. That's all I can figure. Yeah, I was close to the river walk too, because the day I went and did the actual vlog, I went earlier in the day and walked through it when it was daylight out, and I said, okay, I see what this is. This could be pretty at night, but it's pretty plain during the day, and so. But I could see the lights on everything. I said, okay, this will look really nice at night. So, well, I have options to go back. I didn't want to hit everything at once. There were actually a couple of cave tours that I could have taken where there were two different tours, and I elected just to do with one because then that leaves me the option to come back later and hit another one. I didn't hit any of the restaurants on the Riverwalk. I did hit a couple restaurants in town there. There was a hotel right across the street or right next to the Alamo called the Crockett Hotel, and they had a good bar and grill on property. So I ate a couple meals there. Wow, oldie and a goodie. Yeah, I saw the first one too. I saw the first one before there was a second one. I've heard that about the space station, Darth. Hey, Susan. Oh, we've been talking about Halloween and scary movies and kind of food do we like to eat. You know how we are here. Yeah, we were talking about Diane Keaton a little while ago. Yeah, in Redford a couple weeks ago. Maybe Megan can stay in Paris. Yes, she has. Yeah, she buried basically wrote herself out of that family and her husband too. Yeah, her 15 minutes is up. Fortunately, I haven't really paid that much attention to her. She's nothing to me. Just some third-rate actress who married into money. There's supposedly a comet that's going to pop up in about a week that should be visible kind of in the northwest sky or west northwest. I think they were saying might be fun to see that. No, I mean I watched it when it first came out. Gotta remember I was like one of his first subscribers, probably a top five, maybe before that. I mean, I'm sure his mom was an early one. His grandfather was one of them, maybe his sister, and then it was probably me. I don't know if I'd want to eat anything from Kim Kardashian. Yeah, Miss Jaw. That was a long time ago. He's come so far in that time. It's crazy how far I've come too. I mean, I'm not up to Jordan's level of success, and I probably won't if I continue doing this for another 1,000 years. But that's okay. Thanks for stopping in, Kim. Hope you pop in again. Yeah, I remember those live streams in the dog park too. I was at that dog park a few times with he and Jaw. The one right below the Hollywood sign. Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably the closest I ever got to the Hollywood sign. He certainly does, Lindex. Yeah, that's as somebody who drove Jordan to a lot of his videos, as a transportation person, um, I know when I was driving up there, he'd be on his phone and doing all the research and collecting all his notes and getting everything ready to go. Yeah, his vlogs were good for that. Yeah, I've never heard Jaw bark. I've heard him yelp when he gets upset with something, but never bark. Jordan trained him well. He'll whimper. Absolutely, he'll whimper. How old is Jaw now? He's got to be coming up on 10. Because I'm coming up on my seventh year of vlogging. And Jordan was going a few years before that, and he had Jaw before he vlogged. So, yeah, it's got to be pretty close to 10. Yeah, it's fun seeing the same names pop up here week after week. Oh yeah, that's exactly the next promotion I have. You can win cat biscuits. And back to the bourbon. I'm waiting for the bourbon infused bourbon. Yeah, I guess Jeff hasn't really done a lot. Last I saw, he was working on that tractor, but haven't seen him pop in here a lot either recently. Maybe just more things going on after church or something. I don't know. I see him post all the time about his dog. Just about every post is about something funny that dog's doing. Permanent proof. I don't know. I get some ground beef out for a hamburger, but we were talking about Mexican earlier. I don't know. I might have to switch to Mexican. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. Have to go to the grocery store for that. Make some burritos. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to go over to Gallery 11, I think, today, see what they have, and hit the grocery store, get some Mexican food, and see where that takes us. So, had a good time today. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week. Good night.